James. Roll out 8 a.m., the wake-up call.
It's 8 o'clock.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
and I'm ready to fly.
Time to get ready
for another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play. Every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best,
and I don't mind.
So let's get ready. Cause it's about that time. Good morning, you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning, time to wake. Good morning, your dance and play. Good morning, time to start the day. Good morning, open your eyes. Good morning, reach for the sky. Good morning, morning to you. Good morning, morning, how do you do? Good morning, morning to you. Good morning, morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over. Yeah,
I'm on the move. I got a way to stride to it. So let me hear you say, every day we gon' learn to play.
Hey, you got it. What's going on? I tell you what, there's nothing wrong. Get your mask on. Play that song. Keisha Green, Cass in the City, A.R. Shaw, and of course, Romeo International, and my favorite, First King James. What's going on, everybody? Love that hat. Love that hat. Love that hat. Love that hat. I'm feeling the hat. I just put the hat on because you had a hat on.
Oh, okay. I was like, he had a hat on.
Yeah, I put on a hat. I might change hats every 30 minutes, given that your hat's coming.
Come on.
Yeah. What's happening, Cass, in the city?
What's up? I didn't get the hat memo, but I got a hat but I got my bun in. So next time, let's coordinate.
I like and the baby hair, the perfect ways.
No.
That's good. I talked to some powerful sisters last night about their book. One called Butterfly and one called, what was it? Some good big movement, but it was your major. It's major. It was like incredible. So we had to talk about that, Cass. We'll probably pull those up before the end of the day so we can talk about that. Amir Shah, I know you got some great books that you're going to pull out so we can talk about the black books that are there so we don't get stuck in the dump like the Trump, who wants to be in the Trump dump, just every day. Trump dump, Trump dump,
Trump dump, I like that, man.
That Trump dump,
we need to use that.
Trump dumps. Oh, man, that Trump dump.
I think it sounds better the other way around.
Dump
Trump.
Dump Trump.
Let's make some shirts, Muscle. Let's print some shirts out, man. Let's get them out there, man.
We can flip them. You know what I'm saying? We can have it one way and then we can flip it.
On my back, it'd be the other. I feel it.
I love it.
Streets.
It's very, very, very real. They're going to give you reparations, Amir.
Yeah, man, we need it. I think we're going to talk about it later in the report, but
I was hoping you were going to call you a council person. I was hoping you were going to get it done here. We need to call him up so we can get him on the line, see if we can get him on the show today so we can talk about what they're doing and how soon he's going to do it. I'm sure Anthony Brown is ready to turn it in.
Oh, yeah. So definitely want to see like the stipulations, whether they're going to go after businesses or the state. That's like that's the part that's going to kind of determine how far this thing can go. I think you can get it, and I don't know. You guys, let me know. Do you think you can get it faster through businesses or through the state? My opinion is that you can get it faster through businesses. But what are your thoughts on like if there is reparations from a national standpoint? What would be the best route?
Best route is just not to think that you're going to get it. That's the best route. They're not giving up they ain't giving up no ends. They're not trying to share them stacks.
Terry, I like that one. Terry said we are not floating off into a fairy tale.
President Douglas said it's not a fairy tale right now because people have actually figured out how to do it in a town. So the approach is
Asheville.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
It's in Asheville, North Carolina.
the approach is there, Keisha. So we can't lose hope, and we can't be hopeless. So I think at the end of the day, there are a lot more conversations. Just that it's even on the menu, the social menu. And I think that the conversation about even statehood for where Cassidy went to college, I mean, that's on the table. So the conversation is very moving, Keisha. And we want to keep people, particularly in the morning, with a little bit more hope than, well, don't get into the dream state and don't protest for what you need. They're gonna keep.
That was Terry. That was Terry. That was Terry.
I just say no names.
No, dreams out here, man.
No, nobody's gonna
dream.
Yeah, right. It's
ain't nobody signing
conversation.
Ain't nobody assigning me with. Ain't nobody assigning me with no false characteristics because I did not say. I did not say don't dream. I didn't say don't dream. Basically, what I said is don't wait for somebody else. You dream, go after your dreams and accomplish your dreams.
I have faith. I have faith. It's okay. I have faith.
Put the vacuum cleaner out because I'm about to come with the broom. Listen, fairy tales do come true.
Okay.
I want to tell y'all that though.
It's done. It's done by you, not waiting for somebody else. That's what I'm trying to say. You do your.
It's a movement. It is a movement. It is definitely on the social.
Terry, stop telling folks they're not about to get their money. They already online.
and it may not be money. I think the thing that people are working to reimagine is how. I think, to Amir's point, it's very much like, will you guarantee school for all children of color, of African descent? I mean, will you make sure that there are at least loans appropriate for those individuals? So I think the methodology is part of what people are imagining. How can we reimagine it? I think that is, and it's on the social agenda, So just talking about it versus breakfast chatter, and
well, you know what? We always want greater for our people and our community. You know what? We did build this thing, so they can give us something.
Definitely a good step. We've been talking about reparations for a long time.
Yep.
Say it again. I'm with it. Reparations.
I'm just saying.
The next generation.
Okay.
Our reparations.
Oh, you better let us get a song.
You're like Munson. You're like the jingle person. Like you come up with the jingle, like on the spot. You're so creative.
Thank you, Cassidy.
You are. I love it. Like one word, and you turn it into a music video.
You got to keep a song in your heart. I'm having a great summer. We got great stuff happening. I'm waking up to great people. We got great messaging. I never met Keisha. She's in my life now. I got Romeo International. We're working on projects. You and I got a new project. We got to talk. We didn't talk this week. Me and we've got Ride coming September 25th and 26th, rolling out Innovation Digital Entertainment Conference. So, it's a real exciting moment. So I'm not into this thing summer. Summer's already over. I'm going to live every single day in the summer. I'm going to come up for every single day. They're not going to depress me about my summer. They ain't going to tell me what my summer was. I'm going to be listening to summer, Yes. This summer. I'm telling you. Because, I talked to Romeo. I'm just getting him off the ledge. He's young. He's a genius. He's enjoying it. He's got family that loves him. That's enough. You got to know you're enough right where your station is. You're enough. Do not be hoping that somebody else going to give it to you. You are enough, so.
Yes, everything you need is already inside
turn down
you.
the noise. Like, you really got to turn that noise down. It'd be noisy. Like,
Romeo, you are somebody.
You are enough.
Okay, well, first of all, shout out to everybody this morning. Good morning. Yes, I am enough. But it's been all of us got different personalities, which I love, and all of us, we go through our own daily struggles, which I love. But we all know that every day has been a mountain. It's like a different mountain every morning, and then you get to the top of that mountain, and somebody say, "Hey man, we're gonna add another mountain on." So I've started something different. Like every morning now, I just pray for everybody, like the entire world at one time, like just Jesus, just everybody. I don't
Just
even care if
Jesus,
they
everybody.
yeah, black,
And that's the proper.
green, please help everybody right now because everybody needs.
Yeah, that's the proper stance to have, man. It's to spread that love to everybody instead of spreading that hate or repelling that hate back at people who are giving you hate. Spread some love. You know what I'm saying?
You know, the other thing is you're a runner, Romeo. So it's a spiritual marathon. It is literally a spiritual marathon. This is a spiritual marathon. I really work to have analogies you identify with. You know how them hills get. Them days you just don't. I ran some hills this morning. I did not want to run. I didn't want to go around the second time. I promise you, Romeo. I had to talk to myself so much, like, keep going.
All you got to do is when you get on that second lap, just think about me. Be like, you know what? I'm going to do this one for Keish. Gotta do it. Let's get it.
See, I got one more bullet in my arsenal in the chamber just to spiritually, bam, Keisha. All right.
You know what, Cass in the City? He is a jingle, Cass in the City, because that spiritual marathon, that actually makes sense. That resonates with me because, man, when I tell you, and he knows, once you get past that third mile, you like, man, I might as well just stop. But hey, keep pushing.
Right. It is one, and everybody's saying all these negative things. You gotta like control the narrative in your mind, control the narrative of your summer. I'm gonna have a bomb summer. Y'all may not have a bomb summer, but we're gonna have one here at Rolling Out. And if you're part of Rolling Out, you're gonna roll out and find out from Cassidy, from Keisha, from Romeo, from Amir, and maybe from King James, some stuff that will make your life better and just enjoy it. Like it is Rolling Out AM, the wake up call, and we want you to have it. Cass, what you got planned special for this summer? I know you got something.
I want to go to the beach, but I guess I'm just have to make, a little green screen and set up something in my backyard because it doesn't look like that's happening.
I was talking to Romeo. We were talking about how do we do the bathtub swimsuit competitions where everybody just kind of makes the bathtub or the swimming pool out of the baby pools and just have some kind of competition where everybody gets in there.
Those baby pools are really baby. They're very tiny.
Well, maybe it's the bathtub, but like decorate your bathtub for the summer and showcase and have fun and keep it clean and
make a little at-home luha.
At-home luha, whatever it is.
Okay, I'm with it.
Decorations are not that expensive. Get you some decorations and have you some fun, like happy summer, everybody. Live this.
Let's head to Michael's.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all think he playing. Yesterday I was at Walmart. I almost bought that little kiddie pool myself. I was about to go get the water hose.
Those used to be it back in the day.
I'm definitely getting it, man.
Listen, don't forget where you came from.
Facts.
Right. About to get the little sprinkler.
I'm getting the sprinkler.
That's a children's paradise. Like they don't know any different. That's like Hawaii to them.
Yeah.
Listen, when you guys said the slide, all I could do is just see me rolling up on the slide and then just like jumping out the wheelchair and just like sliding. You know what I'm saying?
Why not?
Do it.
Why not? Have the boys help you and enjoy the whole time. Why not? You got to be going for it. That's for sure. If you're not going to do it, nobody's going to bring you happiness.
I tell you who we're not going to invite, Tory Lane. Cass, what you got for your report?
Well, we're going to get into that a little bit. First up, y'all, the pandemic is still going on. Do not forget. And Walmart is now enforcing that all customers have to wear masks when they go into all Walmart stores. So we know it's going to be some temper tantrum. There's going to be some attitudes, but Walmart ain't trying to hear it. If you want to shop there, you got to put on a mask, and I'm not mad at it. So mask up. Up next, we have Megan Thee Stallion. Whew, this is a lot. So Megan Thee Stallion revealed that she was actually shot. She wasn't arrested. She says, she was shot. Someone tried to commit a crime against her and was trying to harm her. But she definitely said that she was not arrested. She said she was very happy to be alive and that she was okay. But she said someone was trying to physically harm her. But Black Twitter, isn't having it. They are in a frenzy right now. They are really upset, and they are trying to figure out who shot Megan. It's like they trying to beat the police to figure out who shot Megan. So it's going crazy right now. We have if we can go to that tweet, I'll show you guys later. But if not, just know that Black Twitter ain't playing. They're gonna figure. They're gonna calculate.
I mean, so somebody doing some lying, because the police report stated that it was cut on broken glass, and days later she comes out and says that she's been shot in the foot twice. I mean, somebody
there was
lying.
some video also from that night that showed her kind of like limping, and I don't know, but she says she was shot. So
I asked you guys when she shot at the party with Kylie Jenner, and you guys said it was a different party, but their Black Twitter is telling Kylie, hey, what's up?
They are saying that. But these people got a message for whoever shot Megan.
So allegedly it was at that party.
Oh, yeah, see this. They on your ass, Tori.
Trust, you will be dealt with. Period. Trust, you will be dealt with. Period.
So the hot girls, the stallions, all the fans are not playing. They accusing everybody.
And they keep
you
telling
are not safe.
Yeah, but it wasn't at the Kylie Jenner, because that was in Holmby Hills, and she was shot in Hollywood Hills,
right?
Which is both on the west side of LA suburb, but it's they're a few miles apart. And so she went to another party and then got into an argument, and then shots were fired in the air. And somebody obviously shot at. She's lucky to be alive, because a few inches higher,
multiple shots.
She could have been hit a little bit higher and cut a major organ or blood vessel, and she wouldn't be with us. So she did say that she's grateful to be alive. However, this thing stinks, because she didn't. Right, it's a weird story, because she didn't state who shot her, and then she did not state the reason or what precipitated the altercation.
She mentioned, like, it was real weird, and kind of saying that she sees the truth in people now. So it was a kind of interesting message. So we'll just have to, stay tuned on that. We'll keep y'all updated.
Yeah, and that's also disingenuous as well. But you know what I'm saying. But go ahead, Stallion. Go ahead with your bad self.
I'm saying we just got to keep her in our prayers, and hopefully they figure it out, because I know the hot girls, they on a mission. So up next we have Cardi B and Offset actually are receiving a huge amount of backlash on Twitter after they bought their daughter Culture a Birkin bag for her 2nd birthday. If you guys are unfamiliar, Birkin is a bag created by Hermes, which is a luxury designer. And these bags, they are very pricey. They start at about $9,000, and they can, go up and up. And these bags actually appreciate. A lot of them sell on auction for upwards of $200,000
for a purse.
Right? Yeah,
for a bag.
Depending on how rare they are.
To put your nose wipes in. To put your nose wipes in your purse. In a purse, a bag. Okay.
So people are, they're receiving a lot of backlash about this. But considering how much they resell for on these auctions, if she keeps this bag, she's probably not going to wear it, until she's, in her teenage years. So this bag could resell for $200K or more, and then it's coming from Cardi B and Offset's daughter. So this isn't a bad, but people aren't.
I'm tired of seeing them with Birkins.
Yeah, and Cardi actually said, to everybody saying, like, y'all think I'm gonna be out here wearing Chanel and Birkin, and my daughter's gonna, not have it? Because if she didn't have it, y'all would be saying, I'm not doing my job.
I'm tired of seeing her wearing Birkin. I think it's just like when she has all these Birkins, I'm like, your man doesn't even put any work into your gift. Like, he buys you the same thing over and over and over again. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, the Birkins are definitely like
Romeo wants in on this. Romeo,
go ahead.
You got the flow.
Thank you, King James. I have a question, Cass in the city. That's his daughter, right?
That's his daughter. He can buy whatever he wants.
That he made. Okay, that's the point I was going to get at.
Oh, yeah,
there you go. There you go.
Yeah, people love to check what you got.
I think the conversation is spiritually when 43 million people are out of work and the food lines are longer and you're not near hungry and $10,000 could change others' lives, that you spiritually are at a place where you want to flaunt your wealth and your money. I mean, they said the same for David Geffen when he escaped to his yacht and then started tweeting. I mean, spiritually, when you flaunt your wealth during a time where people are in poverty, spiritually, where are you? When you're spiritually going to share your investments, when many mothers are crying because their children are hungry and they're going to bed and they don't have a job, then maybe we're celebrating the wrong thing on social. And that you can't pause and feel anybody's pain, so you shame them with your big gifts. And their children see it on social, and teenagers think that it's okay. And yet there's an entire generation robbed right now. Didn't get to graduate, didn't get a gift for a graduation because somebody didn't have any money. You know, it's not that moment. And, you know, it's just a conscious pause. Why?
I agree. He's saying,
why is Beyonce's message, we're going to give away money, and all of a sudden another group is, watch me give expensive gifts? I mean, it's a question. It's just a pause. It isn't, everybody can do whatever with their money, but right now, people have really low pain points. And those
in that case, they had a huge party. That party had to cost more than the bag.
I think for all of us to have conscience, like you're talking about, Keisha. It's just, you know, let's move. But yeah, I think that's the only pause. I mean, when you talk about backlash, people are really suffering. And we can't, just because we have the benefit. It's a bus driver that don't want to see any of the people, don't want to argue with a security guard that got killed for supporting somebody in his store and telling people to wear masks. I mean, people have lost their lives in this moment. And people have lost their lives and caught COVID just so that we can move the African-American Black agenda, Black Lives Matters agendas forward. And we're still protesting Breonna Taylor. So you posting about a bag? When we got Breonna Taylor, you posting about a bag?
Yeah.
That's your message with all that social? I think that's what they question. I don't know. You know, what do I know, Cass? I don't spend a lot of time. You know, if that's the case, Amazon's a good investment. Apple's a good investment. Our community needs to have that money working for them, not betting on a bag.
Right.
Yeah. Well, people, you know, people are always gonna have something to say. So
yeah,
good, bad, or
I think people just get mad about the wrong things and are appropriating their energies in the wrong direction instead of worrying about what some celebrity does. Because, you know, it's hypocritical too for some people, because if they had that kind of money for their daughter or son's birthday, they would splurge if they had the means by which to do so. But also keeping in mind that while some people splurge, some celebrities, they also take time to give back, because Beyonce shows her wealth, but she also has donated. Her and Rihanna and Jay-Z and some of the others have definitely donated back, but they also let us know, I got it like that. So they do both. But to get mad at them is to get mad at the wrong thing.
Sorry to cut you off, Terry. I'm gonna go to birthdays real quick, and then we have a guest coming up, so we can come back to this later if you have time. But in birthdays, it's actually, we were just speaking about her yesterday, Asada Shakur, as well as Sabrina Dowry, who is Idris Elba's wife. So it's their birthday today. So shout out to them and everyone else
Happy
tuned
birthday.
in whose birthday it is today.
Definitely shout out to Asada.
We got balloons, yeah. The cake is on the way. We got the music playing, cause it's your holiday. Woo! We invited family, and everybody came. Right. I strike a pose for me like you in a picture frame. You got your finest clothes on, get $1 million smile. So we gon' celebrate you for a while. And don't forget we got the candles. When you away, don't forget we got the candles. Happy birthday, gonna celebrate you for a while. Candles, blowing you away. Wait. Candles. Happy birthday, happy girl. So
if you got up and make another year, put your hands up in the air. Come on, y'all. Put your hands in the air.
Hey, man.
Just beat it. No one wants to be defeated.
Oh my God.
You know that cancel button. I got that button too.
We
Hey,
have a guest on,
Carrie.
Carrie from the
Morning.
Organic Flow. Good morning, Carrie.
We apologize for running late, Carrie. I don't know why. I wanted to see you so long ago. I'm gonna drop off, but it was great to see you.
Yeah, it wasn't me, Carrie. You know I love you. It wasn't me.
Yeah, somebody was bloviating today, but we're going to forgive them. How you doing, Carrie?
I am not bad. The highlight of my morning, outside of yoga and meditation with everybody this morning on Zoom, is being here today with Rebecca Price. Everybody, please welcome my sister in wellness, Rebecca Price.
Good morning,
Hey, Rebecca.
Good morning,
Rebecca.
Rebecca is
Price.
amazing, Munson. She's the founder of Irise Yoga. She's a wellness advocate in the Toronto community and really just our Black community. She's a Nike trainer and has been promoting yoga, wellness, mindfulness specifically for our community. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for being here.
Thank you.
Sharing your time with us this morning. And I just wanted to say about something that you shared on the gram that hit my soul about the 400 years in the hips. You guys might not have any idea what I'm talking about right now, but as we talked about on Tuesday, tension, stress, these sorts of things, trauma can remain stored in our body, and particularly in our hips, which is why that pose that Romeo was doing that we shared last week is such an important pose, especially for people of color. And Rebecca recently shared an article or post about 400 years of trauma in our hips. Rebecca, can you tell us about that?
So I have Irise Yoga, and then I also co-founded this initiative called the Well Collective. And basically it centers like Black and Indigenous people of color voices in the wellness industry. And we had a panel on anti-Black racism because I believe that racism, specifically anti-Black racism, is a wellness issue, right? And so someone had asked me a question, and as a yoga practitioner, we're always focusing on making sure that people understand the mind-body connection. And I believe that trauma is stored in your body and you pass it down generationally, right? Just like it's like natural evolution of people. It's called epigenetics. It's like a scientific thing. And so like I've been doing a lot of unpacking and a lot of studying around that. And so when someone had asked the question, I was just like, well, like, you know, my people have been, my hips have been tight for 400 years, right? And hips is a really interesting place in our body that we store a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of trauma. Right. And so for me, it was really important for me to acknowledge the fact that for like historically, I'm Jamaican, but and Latina. So like it's been something where like culturally, like my people and like African Americans, we've gone through slavery. How does that show up? Slavery, post-slavery, colonization, so many different kinds of iterations of like oppression and how are we storing oppression in our body? So for me, it was really important for me to acknowledge the fact that we store so much trauma in our bodies. And so when we're looking at unpacking trauma, we also have to acknowledge the role that race plays in our trauma, where we're storing it in our body. And for a lot of people, getting into anything that opens up your hips is a very hard thing. So like pigeon, I'm assuming you did pigeon with him, right, Carrie?
I haven't done any yoga poses with them yet. This is my goal
Okay.
with the rolling out team to do yoga. It is my goal one of these days. So
yes, you guys
not openers yet. Maybe Cass.
No, we've got to take it out, Carrie, and make it just so that everybody doesn't show up on their screen here, that we all got to go outside and do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. We can just kind of say, hey, here's our day. We're going to go outside and we're going to do the entire show doing and stretching our spirits and talking and only bringing on guests that are going to have some kind of practice. It's not hard. The technology will move with us. So don't be afraid to organize it, young lady.
All right.
That means they're organizing between you and your sisters over here. I love this. All these young queens are loving this. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. But don't stop, Cass. Let's arrange it, set the date, our own yoga challenge, and we'll all wake up and be outside and get our Zoom.
Down for it.
And we'll do it all day, and we'll just make it a motion. a week of yoga on, rolling out AM. I'm with it. And make it international with our sister, Rebecca Price. You see, I got Medea. See?
Listen, I do too.
Yeah.
I done put my leg up on the table. I was like, okay, let's get ready.
Let's get ready.
Well, I mean, I think that sometimes as a community, especially as Black people, because there's lack of representation, like we don't really see ourselves in the yoga space, in the wellness space. It's really important for us to acknowledge and really honor the fact that yoga also has its roots in Africa. So like, technically speaking, it's a practice that is indigenous, like it is a natural practice for us to be doing. And then for us to really understand that it's about also reclaiming elements of like essences of who we are, and also really focusing on the fact that self-care is really important for us as a practice and as a community, right? And yoga is really accessible. It doesn't take much. There you go. You just did a move. If Keisha can put her leg up on the table, then she just did some yoga. So like, it's all good.
But Rebecca, can you tell us what epigenetics is? I'm getting my King James on. Can you elaborate on that word for folks who might be watching this? What is epigenetics?
It's kind of like epi, like skin, like internal, and then genetics, right? So like the whole entire idea of like, like there's certain like characteristics that you like inherited from your parents or your grandparents or whatever, like height, obviously, like eye color, things of that nature. So then this is the idea and studying of how things get stored inside the body. So there's a lot of like information, or it's just like more information is just coming out about the fact that like, have you ever wondered why you've been afraid of heights, for instance, right? Or like, have you ever wondered why like certain sounds like startle you, but you've never been in an environment where that sound would have bothered you or startled you in the first place. And so it's looking at what could have happened to your parents, to your grandparents, or your great grandparents that ended up being stored as tension and trauma in your body, that when you're giving birth, you pass that down to somebody else, right? And so if you can pass down eye color, height, and all these other things genetically, then you can also pass down trauma. And that's the whole entire study and breakdown of what epigenetics is. And I think like as a people, especially when we're talking about wellness, and especially when we're talking about the idea of like racism and how it impacts us, right? And like historically, we've like gone racism and oppression for like over 400 years. Like, what is the impact of that? And how does that show up? You know what I mean? In terms of our bodies, in terms of how we interact with each other, in terms of how we even like practice, like not just self-care, but self-love, understanding our worth, right? The concept of like the grind, the hustle, like how does all that impact, especially when you're Black, and the idea of you being constantly othered, like you're not considered worthy, like you always have to work twice as hard, like, the impact of like, going from slavery to like in the Caribbean, it was indentured servitude. Like in America, it was like, you know what I mean? What are the implications of that? And then transitioning from that into feeding people into the like schools to prison pipeline, right? Like, how does that, like, and like the traumas or the understandings that we get from that, and how does that impact us? And how is that showing up in our body, right? And paying attention to that. So that's essentially like a brief overview without trying to sound like too nerdy in the morning.
No, educate us, let us know, because people are angry and mad and don't even know why they are, you know? And I think the epigenetic explanation is such a great reason to illustrate, like, you might be stressed, you might be depressed, you might be having all these internal emotions and not even know you were predisposed to this before you were even born. You were born with this trauma and this specific racial trauma in your body before you even knew it. So before lots of people are walking around unconscious and don't even know this. So Rebecca, thank you so much for sharing this. So just knowing this is social justice work, right?
And also understanding, like, so if you have that understanding, and so my work is really connected to like the social determinants of health. So I look at wellness as a holistic model. Like, I don't just say like you do yoga and like you're good to go, because wellness is also connected to your ability to access finance, spirituality, your connections to community, who you're connected to. So that's why, like, even in this pandemic, social distancing, or, you know, physical distancing, as I like to call it, has been really hard for people because they're losing the idea of being connected to people. The idea in terms of like how you're able to access food, like all these things play important variables in terms of how you're able to like be healthy and how you're able to be well, right? And so like if there's gaps in that, and you know, historically there's systemic systems that are put in place that inhibit our ability to show up and to be well. That's why disproportionately like Black people and brown people have been affected the most by COVID, right? It's just exposing the gaps that we've already been having. Like we're systemic racism, then, you know, geographically environmental racism, then we're talking about access to food. And then people are going to be like, well, Black people have the highest rate of diabetes, but Black people have the highest rate of diabetes because of environmental racism, systemic racism,
literally,
access to healthy food. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why all these things are happening, right? And so when I'm talking about wellness and I'm talking about yoga and I'm talking about all these things, it's about owning that space, but creating like a holistic model of like how we take care of ourselves, and then having those conversations about what that means on a larger like scale.
So needed. I think when most people, and I guess Keisha and Romeo and Cass, would you agree, when most people think about yoga teachers, they don't think about activism, do they?
No,
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
That was deep. That was necessary, though. We needed to hear that this morning.
I think it's really great that we're having this conversation on Asuda Shakur's birthday too, as well. Like, snap to that. So.
Yes.
Where's my phone? Actually, guys, I'm currently reading Asada, and you know, even as a revolutionary, she was like connected with these moments of connection with breath, mind, and body, and just realizing how significant that is in the fight. You know, we are feeling down spiritually, physically, and otherwise. How are we going to be there for the fight? How are we going to uplift ourselves and our people? So, you know, thank you for making that connection between this being social activism and self-care, and how they're intertwined, especially for the Black community, and why we need to be doing this sort of self-care and strengthening the mind and body. So Rebecca, tell us why you founded Irise Yoga. What is Irise Yoga? Why do we
Irise, so I use the Ankara symbol of the fern, which basically means to rise, right? And I founded it, so my background is like community development and engagement. So I founded it because I was working in a lot of communities where there was no access to tools and resources to focus on wellness. And specifically because I got tired of being the only Black person or the person of color in these spaces. I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. So it's a long time. And, you know, like culturally being West Indian, like it's a very interesting space to occupy with regards to like having that conversation with my community. But more specifically, I found yoga was a tool that helped me cope with like anxiety, allowed me to really connect back to my body and my breath, allowed me to kind of make shifts through like challenges that I faced around depression. And so for me, it was really important to create a space where I felt people could be safe, right? And so it wasn't the idea of like people are not taking care of themselves, right? It was the idea that there was no space for us to be and thrive, right? And so if there's no space for me to focus on my wellness, then how am I to be well? So a lot of the conversations that I would have with people in community would be like, well, that's a white thing. They didn't really necessarily see themselves there. And so then I was just like, but, you know, like I practice yoga. I'm definitely not a size 2. So like for me, it was really important to create space for women of color in particular, to be able to connect to the idea of focusing on their wellness. And yoga is just one of the tools that I use in my practice. So I've been doing this for like, what, 7, like full time, like 7 years. Just creating space, and I make it very accessible. So I, like you, Carrie, I provide all the mats, props. If you can't afford to pay for class, doesn't matter, just show up. And I do like snacks, tea, water, whatever at the end. And it's just about really building community and creating a space for people to be able to come and to stretch and like I play reggae music, Afrofusion, like a whole bunch. Like me, I show up because this is my community. I know my people, them, and that's just kind of like how it organically grew. And I've been doing this for 7 years. And people said that I wouldn't make any money. People said that Black people being well. But I'm here 7 years later, Nike trainer, and a thriving community that like really is engaged in reclaiming that space of wellness for themselves.
Well,
Rebecca, you is lit, girl.
Thank
You better
Keisha.
tell them 7 years, the year of completion.
And Keisha, she's the first Black Nike trainer in Canada.
Yeah.
Come on. Why you can't leave that out? Come on, give it up for Rebecca.
Yes,
This is
Irise
Black
Yoga.
Nike trainer in Canada. Come on.
This is where me and Rebecca gonna fight. This is what me and Rebecca gonna fight. I ain't falling for the smile, the pretty cheeks, or the face. I'm not falling for all that. Because I love Carrie. That's where I'm at in life. But I do got a question before we get to the breathing and stuff. Because I am an ambassador for Nike, and I've seen you on the training app.
Yep.
My question is, and listen, I'm not challenging you. My question is, you're talking about providing this space for people, and Carrie talks to me about this all the time. There are people at home who are dealing with things every single day, whether it's media, whether it's life, whether it's whatever, and it's daily, trying to find space. So the question is, and I know we got to wrap, but my question to you is, how would you suggest for people to find simplicity in their space at home? Because a lot of people, how can they find that?
I think sometimes we overcomplicate the whole entire process of like taking care of ourselves and what that means, right? And so for me, I like to say to everybody, like, self-care and the practice of taking care of ourselves is very simple. It could be simple as like, you don't have to practice yoga. And yoga isn't just the, like we call the asana, the postures. Like yoga is like a practice in terms of the way that you live, right? And so like, for me, it could be like taking a moment out at the beginning of my day or at the end of the day, just to drink a cup of tea, or like to go for a walk, read a book, like just 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be like an hour practice or anything like that. Sometimes I think we overcomplicate or overthink what it's supposed to be looking like, because, you know, the system is kind of set up that way for you to think that if you don't have like these pants and these yoga mats and this and that you can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, my practice, like my everyday yoga practice is very simple. I love to go for walks. So like, if you ever follow me on Instagram, every day I'm out there taking pictures. I like to walk by the water. That's the Cancer in me. And so like, you know, I find time for that. And also with my children, I cultivate that space in terms of like let's learn how to practice self-care for now because they're boys. And what does that look like for you? So going for a walk, like, you know, sitting by the water, meditating for like 2 minutes a minute, doesn't have to be anything really hard. Like, even like you have your watches and they have all these little apps, like breathe, like, you know what I mean? Take that moment, it's a minute, just inhale, exhale, breathe, like those things. I think that when we complicate things by thinking that we don't have certain things or we're waiting for everything to be perfect, we're letting things go, like, you know what I mean? And so like, even if you take that time, if you like cooking, like maybe just being more mindful of how you cook. Like a lot of people say you cook with love, like, you know what I mean? Like taking your time to chop those vegetables, taking your time to eat your food, right? It doesn't have to be anything extensive, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive. And I think especially for us as a community, because a lot of the practices that show up in wellness spaces are stuff that we have like invented, right? So it's important for us to also reclaim those things. So for me, you're not going to ever hear me say, and I think even when you saw me on the app, it was like cultivating an attitude of gratitude, right? Simple ways for you to be able to do that. I mean, everything that I did, even the postures that I did, were very accessible. Like, you know what I mean? For me, it's about creating access, and access transcends my whole practice. And so like, I practice what I preach. So like, I drink my tea, I go for my walks, I practice my yoga, I read, and sometimes I like turn on some music and dance, right? That's self-care. So like cultivating those moments and recognizing when you're doing it, and or like taking a moment just to write down things that you're thankful for, like, and then making that more of a practice. And the more that you practice it, becomes like, you know, second nature for you. So I guess we didn't really have a fight, Romeo.
Well, thank you, Rebecca Price, Michelle Obama Jr.'s, whatever. We'll appreciate you tuning in and rolling out this AM show, man. Coming on with Carrie. I love Carrie. I just want to say.
Yeah, she's the best. Carrie's my girl. I've known Carrie for years. Carrie and I connected on the gram years ago because I just value and respect the work that she does in Detroit. She shows up for community hard, and she rides for community hard. And so anytime Carrie asks
we love Carrie.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I love
you, Carrie.
Guys, this is so much love. I'm like,
take it, girl, take it.
Yes.
Love you, Rebecca, and thank you so much for coming on today. You brought up so many things. I hope everyone will Google like epigenetics, like yoga, Africa, comedic yoga. Everybody Google it, Rebecca. We got to talk about it. I'm going to do a training soon, but we gotta learn, right? We gotta learn.
Yeah.
James, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get like you. So so happy to be here. Thank you again, Rebecca. Thank you, Rolling Out. And where can everybody follow you and keep in touch and learn more, Rebecca?
So you can find me on Facebook at Irise Yoga. I'm not as active there. So Instagram is probably the best way. I'm always on there, posting a couple of times. You can find me at Irise Yoga on Instagram and the Well Collective if you really want to do some more work around like the racism work and like privilege work that shows up in the wellness. So that's how you find me.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Yes,
we appreciate all the knowledge.
Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Keisha.
Take care.
Thank you for spreading the love.
Bye,
Thank you.
Carrie. Bye, Rebecca.
Bye, Rebecca. Bye, Carrie.
So up next, we have a very exciting guest, Marvina S. Robinson, owner of Stuyvesant Champagne, is on with us now. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Morning.
Morning. Yes, you need to move the glass a little bit more to. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, we definitely want to. We definitely want to see some of those.
In the background, I was like, okay, Dick had.
There we is. There we is. You got it.
We love it.
Yeah, you on point now.
But just tell us a little bit about yourself for everyone who is unfamiliar.
Okay, yeah, great. So I am Marvina Robinson. I am the founder and CEO of Stuyvesant Champagne. Stuyvesant Champagne is actually a new boutique brand champagne that recently launched only in February. So we're still under 6 months. And we have 2 cuvées, a rosé and a Grand Reserve. It is owned by myself 100%. I am the Huckleberry Finn of this grand Stuyvesant Champagne. It all really started. People always ask me what made me think about this, bringing champagne to the market. And what the funny story is not funny, but it's just an example how life turns all around. I really was not bringing a champagne to the actual market. I was actually in the process of opening up a champagne bar, and I wanted to have my own house brand. So that's why I felt like I needed to have my own brand. So I was in France and I back and forth, developing it. And then most people kept asking, are you going to put it on the shelves? I'm like, no, it's just for the bar. Just want to keep it for the bar. And then logically it comes like with all these paperwork requirements, licenses you have to get. Why should I only keep it to this one spot? Why not like branch it out? And I was like, okay, well, I can put it on shelves and see where it goes. And in my head, I said, if it flops on shelves, then it really wasn't meant to be, but it's totally taking off. And now this is the business. And, it just gives you, like I said earlier, examples when you may be on route A, but sometimes life takes you on route C, D, and E. You just got to roll with it. You can't always go by the book.
Absolutely. I want you to talk about, the process of, becoming a champagne owner and creating this brand, because many people don't know. There are very few minorities who own champagne brands, and champagne only comes from the Champagne region of France.
Yes.
So you can't have, there's no wineries, locally in America that make champagne. So just talk a little bit about that process for you as a Black woman.
The process wasn't easy, right? So at first, and this really started over 2 years ago, I just kept it to myself. You can't, first of all, you cannot do any real contacting if you're here in the United States, if you really want a champagne brand. So you're going to have to really uproot yourself or make yourself uncomfortable to really go out to the region you want to get your own brand, specifically for me, champagne, and try to make contacts. And that was really hard for me because I was working full time. I worked on Wall Street for over 20 years. So I literally would wind down my day at 4 o'clock. I stopped taking meetings on Fridays. Like there are no meetings after 2 o'clock because meetings always go over, and I'm gonna be sweating getting to the airport. And I would leave Friday, get there early Saturday morning, and I would take my flight late Sunday to get back to work. Monday, I would go to the gym. I used to join Equinox. I joined Equinox specifically so I can go to the gym when I came back on Monday morning, shower and change, and then go straight to work, literally right across the street. And you have to make contacts. And at first it was hard. It was very hard to make the contacts. One, I don't speak the language. So Google's my best friend. And in the Champaign region, believe it or not, reception on your phone is not the best. So
it's like southern part, right? Like it's like the country.
So it is the country. So have you ever saw Little House on the Prairie, how it all starts with all the fields? That's exactly what it looks like, but it's actually beautiful. And I met an individual. We were talking, and he was actually opening a bar in Congo. So we were just swapping stories in France. And this is actually a late night, like early morning, sitting on the sidewalk, like 5 o'clock. We like totally partied all night. And I was like, ultimately, my goal is to really, I want my own champagne brand, you know. He's like, I can help you with that. I can make some contacts for you. I was like, okay, we'll make the contacts. So sometimes, you know, this is a story, I'm speaking real. When I drink, sometimes, you know, I forget things sometimes. So I write things on my hand so I remember. So that next morning I woke up and I'm like, oh yeah, he did tell me that. So I was calling him and he's like, we just got in like 2 hours ago. He said, I still need some more sleep. I'm like, come on, sleep is overrated. Like, let's make He said, okay, give me like 2 more hours. Like I literally gave him like 2 hours and 1 minute. I said, you up yet? He was like, no. Anyway, long story short, he ended up starting the contacts for me. And then I began to make my own contacts, like, because it's like being in a relationship. You have to make sure it works on both ends. And for me, like I can think for now, but I'm going to have 20 ideas. And I need to know that whoever I'm working with is going to be able to keep up and going to be able to really deliver what I actually need. And that's for my personality, I do have a dominant personality, and in the same breath, I'm asking one question, there's like 10 questions about to come out my mouth within the next like 15 seconds. So that's really the hard part. And then just understanding, and the vineyard that I actually chose, you know, one thing I like is like as a woman that runs the house, you know, it's a small independent, you know, vineyard. What I like is like, if you're doing anything else for anybody else, no offense, I don't want to work. You know, I want it to be exclusive to me and my brand. And that's what it was. And we have an understanding. I mean, we still have trials and tribulations. We still got things we need to clean up. But I said, you know, we can clean it up. You know, again, we're still new, under 6 months. And it's a process. And I tell you, not being able to get out there is actually probably what kills me the most, because first of all, it's the most I've been in New York in a long time. I've never been this stable so far. And it all came up to, you know, like, okay, April trip gonna get canceled. I said, okay, I'm gonna go in May. And I'm like, okay, May is here, May ain't here. Then like June was my next big trip, because I usually go every other month. I'm looking like, okay, now we in July. I'm like, okay, we definitely ain't going, because I can't even get out the country. So I'm like, hopefully praying, okay, maybe the lift will get lifted by September for harvest season. And then I'm just thinking, even if it does get lifted, do you want to rush somewhere? So quickly, like what happened if something happens, you know, not that if I don't get back in, I'm okay with that. But, you know, just
you have those contacts, like you said.
Family, so like, that's like my planning phase. So again, it's a lot of kinks. And even with the kinks here in the States and growing a brand new brand, trying to put it on the market, that's a whole nother idea. Because you have people that'll say, I've had people that say, oh, you can't own a champagne brand. That doesn't sound possible.
You prove them wrong.
Exactly. And in my head, when people say stuff like that, I'd be like, you really don't know me, because I'm a very persistent person, even from young days. I remember when I was in high school, I wanted this jacket so bad in Kings Plaza. I don't know if anybody's from Brooklyn, but it is like a local bus ride, a 45-minute bus ride to an hour. And I would take this bus with my friend Lori, and I would have $25 almost every week. And we took that bus for like almost 2 months straight, just going there, putting down $25. Because if it's something you want, you're going to work for it, you're going to get it by any means necessary.
That's that Brooklyn coming out. That's that Brooklyn coming out. That's that old bad boy coming out. I hear it in your voice. You ain't slick.
Oh, I'm not slick. I keep it up. Like I'm on low key gangsta. Like, you know, I like to get stuff
Love
done.
it.
You know, I am very persistent. You know, I pride myself on being professional at all times. You know, I might slip up here and there. But you know, it's hard because sometimes people push you, you know, and as a Black woman, sometimes you're already dismissed or discounted.
Right.
And I don't like stuff like that. And I will politely check you 1 or 2 times.
It has to be done sometimes. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
But I just want you to show, if you could just bring one of those bottles down, I just want people to actually like see your design.
This is our Grand Reserve, right? So I try to make sure the bottles reflect me, right? One is named Stuyvesant after the neighborhood I grew up in, Bedford Stuyvesant. So that's where it's the Stuyvesant name. The official full name is B. Stuyvesant, but you know, we all have nicknames, so it's just Stuyvesant, right? So this is a Grand Reserve, right? So I'm a really simple, laid back person. I'm the person that doesn't need to be in the front of the class to have shine, because you're gonna shine in the back regardless, right? You get what you want to get. So
love it.
It looks like a plain Bible. When you touch it, it feels like suede. The names of the grape is like Braille. So it's very like simplicity, things I like. You know, I don't like flashy, gaudy things. So that's what I like to really represent. And
we can't wait to get it.
I can't wait for you to get it. I can't wait for you to have it. And this is actually the rosé. So like I was telling you, trials and tribulations. So what I've been noticing is that because this is the lettering is in gold foil on a lighter color, it's hard to photograph. So those are things that we're learning along the way. So we're like, okay, we have to do some changes. So this is what a new business does, you know, and these are some of the growing pains we have as a new business. But you know, bottles still look good, and it takes a minute.
Yeah, I want to applaud you for entering into that unique space of sophisticated libations, and I wanted to know how, you know, the pleasures and the rewards for imbibing on such drinks. You know what I'm saying, in terms of, you know, just having a sophisticated party and doing something a little bit different than what we're used to, instead of just, you know, going to the same old cognac or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What are the benefits to having that decorate your party?
So that's a you know what happens is, like I said, like I didn't set forth for any of this, right? You know, like I had my champagne bar in my head, like that was what it was. So what I do like is that, yes, I am in a very small niche, and I love it like that, because you know, it's like I get so many questions, and it's like you're in this niche that you didn't really strive to be in this niche. Not that I'm not striving for greatness, I am, but it wasn't like going into this field. So yes, it is you know, as you mentioned, it is a champagne. It is from the Champagne region. It is very specific. And though people sometimes say, okay, champagne, they think of champagne, they think of celebratory, it can be for anything. Sometimes it ain't tea in this cup, you know, but you know, so you know, like I'm embracing it, you know, like I am truly embracing it, and I'm learning along the way. Like I still have things to learn from the switching industries, because you know, like I've worked on Wall Street for like 20 years. That's all I've ever known. When I graduated from undergrad, I worked, went to graduate school full time, went back to my same industry. So I've never worked in another industry in my life. And it was a lot for me to say, okay, this is it. Like I took a leap of faith on myself, because I'm always going to jump for me first. And if I fail, I say, hey, I have a great education. I have a good career, I can go back. But I will say, having, like I've owned a previous business, but I feel like I'm in my own right now.
You're in your element.
Yes, I am in my element, because I feel like I am working a lot harder than I worked on Wall Street. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't get a lot of sleep. My days start early. But
that's the life of a boss man. That's the life of a boss man.
I don't like, sometimes I'm like, okay, let me just lay here sometime for like 10 minutes. Let me just not look at an email. I got like 6 email addresses. And I'm just like, I'm not looking at nothing for right now. But then within 30 seconds, phone in my hand, you know, just checking. So it's just like, it's an amazing feeling, and just so much I want to bring to the markets, and to see like where I have it shine. Like August, we're kicking off our, you know, wholesale retail. So now we're going back into shops in New York. We're going to California. We're doing wholesale in Florida, Chicago, DC, Georgia, and North Carolina is up next. We also have a new product popping off, champagne popsicles.
They're
actually
You know what?
Champagne popsicles on Fruita Pops, our manufacturer. You know what's crazy is during this pandemic, the pandemic kind of really not hurt the brand, but it slowed the brand down because being that we import from France, shipping was hard and it was non-existent for almost 2 months. So that kind of like held us up. But our customers in core base, 98% understood, 2% didn't. But we can just give out. Listen, if I could put it on if I could like morph myself there and then morph it back like a cartoon character, I would. So those are some of the things. And during the pandemic, I said, when this lifts or it begins to ease it, I can't be in the same space I was when I entered. We need to have new things and new products. So that's the time I took to research, okay, you know what? I love a good popsicle. Let's do champagne popsicles, right?
That's what's up.
Awesome. I don't mean to cut you off. We're running out of time. Just quickly, I want you to share where people can follow you on social and your website.
Social media and our website is Stuyvesant Champagne. Stuyvesant, like Stuyvesant, and then Champagne. That's all our handles. Same thing on Twitter, except for it's 01 at the end.
That's awesome. Well, we're so grateful to you for coming. We definitely want to have you back for a lunch and learn.
Congratulations.
You have so much insight into this niche market. So we definitely want to have you back for a lunch and learn.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I would definitely contact you because you're doing amazing things and you're breaking barriers for women. So thank you so much.
And I'm ready, Marvina. I'm ready to be the model spokesperson. I think we can just put the bottle. I'm ready, Marvina. Just hit me up.
I'm gonna need your portfolio.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Marvina, so much. Take care.
All right, thank you. All right.
That was cool, Cass. Man, like I'm a wine and champagne. I actually am a wine and champagne drinker. I'm not a liquor.
I love champagne. So I think it's super dope that she's entered into this space.
Yeah.
Very, very rare, like you say. I mean, it only comes from this special region, and you pretty much have to travel internationally, to run your business. So shout out to her.
That is just a
100% Black owned.
Yeah, and
I love
she's a true boss. And you know what I'm saying? And I had the pleasure of visiting a winery or a vineyard north of San Francisco that is Black owned, and the trials and tribulation that he had to go through.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely spectacular. And that's also a specified niche. So the fact that she's doing this, shout out to a true boss, man. You know what I'm saying? Her story is powerful.
Yeah, I'm about to be a spokesperson for a wine bottle. I'm about to give me some champagne.
That's champagne, sir. That's champagne.
His shot.
You can't even name a brand of champagne. Name me a brand.
You about to say Stuyvesant.
Hey, AR, I'm already ready. Hey, this is Romeo. And when I'm thirsty, I drink. Thank you. Go back.
Hey, man.
Good.
Do it, man. Life, fairy tales come true, man. Do it. I'm with you.
So we got our next guest that we got coming up. Hey, it's connecting.
Hey,
Miss Sunshine.
Can't hear you.
It's to the bottom left.
Well, we're having a little bit of difficulties, but we are so glad to have Avery Sunshine. Hopefully we can get this technicality addressed. There we go. Now,
there we go.
There we go.
Computer was cussing. Something was happening.
Oh, okay. Avery Sunshine in the building. How you doing?
I'm great. How y'all doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call. What is popping in your world? I love your background too.
Yeah, great.
I mean, I'm just in the studio trying to make it look cute. It ain't real. You trying to make it look.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you that's making it look cute. You know?
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Thank you. See, I got up early to try to make something happen. I had to get up early.
You did that.
Yes.
Y'all look amazing. Good morning. Good
morning.
I like this.
I like this.
Yes.
Some great energy.
Y'all, I ain't had no coffee. I'm trying to get off of coffee. So I had a smoothie. There's this new thing, Harvest something that you get on TV and they bring you all the smoothies so you don't have to go through the trouble.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
And I don't know about you, there's fruit flies everywhere. So I figured I would just do this. So I'm on that and I feel better.
Awesome. Are you doing greens? Are you
Yeah.
doing greens? Okay, gotcha. I'm with you. So let's talk about you right now. How have you been doing during this new world of pandemic and Corona and 45 and everybody?
You know what? I was talking to Michael Collier. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. We've had him on the show twice.
I call him Uncle Pastor. And we were talking last night.
Cussing pastor.
Listen, and ironically, what I'm about to say, he said that he stopped cussing 15 days ago. And yes. I feel like the way that I've gotten through this is a good cuss word here and there. Right. So you can kind of get back, because everything is like this. And if you say a good cuss word real good, it'll
balance you out.
That's what y'all, I feel like we are living in a movie.
Yeah.
And you have to, sometimes, unfortunately, I feel like I do have to laugh to keep from crying. I was in the bathroom yesterday, put my makeup on, and I put the Lorax on. I'm watching the Lorax.
Is that Dr. Seuss?
I needed to find something to take me away from all of this reality, because this reality is so heavy. It's so heavy.
Oh, Miss Sunshine, I'm in love with you.
I love you too.
Like it's funny that you say that. Every night I literally have to watch cartoons to detach from reality.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Right.
If you don't, it's way too much. I've got two teenage boys, 18 and 19. I've got a 20-year-old daughter. Just trying to communicate. I've got an 83-year-old mom, trying to communicate all of this and deal with all this. My mother lived through the Jim Crow South, right? And so we didn't talk about all that stuff a lot. She said, y'all want to talk about it. She said, but it's too painful for me. I lived it. So there were a lot of things that we just didn't deal with. My parents were working so hard to make sure I was at the private school and make sure that I was a part of this organization and make sure I was ready to apply to Spelman College, and that there were some things that I dare say, I'm not going to say that it was not apparent that there was this ugliness, this hate that existed, because I knew that. But I'm 45, and now that he's 45, I'm 45, and y'all, when I was growing up, if you're my age, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. They didn't talk about racism and inequality the same way. I feel like we wasn't the same, not like before and now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were things that we dealt with, that we took on the chin. It's like, yeah, because that's how white folks are. Hey, and forgive me, guys, but sometimes, hey, that's how men are. So for the women, we got to deal with, that's just how it is. You're in a white man's world for so long for women, and I'm in a place, y'all. Now, as you can see, I got blocks on this side and just stuff all over the place. I cannot lie. I am tired of playing somebody else's game. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Man.
But how do you use music as at that studio as your bastion of peace to get away? What is it about music that helps you to coax your spirit and to massage your soul?
Yeah, and you already know it. I wish I could say that my writing and my music, and I'm grateful for the gift that God has given me, but y'all, I'm telling you, the music of, when you talk about healing music, the music of Donny Hathaway and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye, those songs that James Brown, for me right now, the place of healing where I am, I need to get as close to my Blackness as I possibly can. So singing songs like, Be Real Black for me, Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack, that's where I am. I'm immersing myself in that and working on making sure my children are aware, because while they're making me aware of Kodak Black.
Yeah. Yes, let's go.
But while but it's the truth. While I'm working on trying to show them this is conscious music, and they're like, listen, though, you gotta check this out. This is conscious in that. Let me help you understand why the music now is conscious, Mom. It's conscious because people feel like they're free to say what they want to say, and maybe not the same thing that you saying, but they feel free to speak. And so I got a list. I'm listening to my kid, listening to their music, and learning, and learning some lyrics to your boy. What's his name? He got a song, something about horses in the stable. It makes me crazy. Y'all know his name.
Talking about Lil Nas X.
No. It's another one. Producer, super huge producer. He's got locks. He's got hazel eyes. Remember back in the day? If you're my age, y'all know about that. He got hazel eyes.
He got hazel eyes.
He got some pretty eyes and some pretty hair.
He got some pretty eyes.
Wait a minute. Please forgive me. See, my husband, I don't know if you hear this alarm. I'm married and damn it.
Hey. I love that real moment. I love that real moment, girl. Go ahead.
Why you gotta you all the way upstairs? Why is the alarm on?
That's cold. I got a husband. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm married. Hold on.
I got things to do.
I love him because he be doing stuff. But I'm sorry, but when I think of that guy's name, I'm going to tell you, he's one of the hottest producers. I can't think of his name. I'll think of it tomorrow after the call.
Yeah, but you got some new music out right now, that's hot right now. So talk about that.
I do. So my husband and I were asked to be a part of a movement called Not Numbers, Loved Ones. And a friend of mine called and said, listen, we have this initiative going where we want to acknowledge all of the Black lives that have been sacrificed during COVID or to COVID. And at the time, we were at that 100,000 mark. Y'all, and you look now, we're at 137,000. Yes, that's amazing. So yeah, it's absolutely insane. So we wrote this song, and it started, we were dedicating it to those whose lives were lost to COVID, right? But it started moving and flowing into, how about this? We're dedicating this song to anybody who has lost anybody in this strange time, from police brutality to COVID to whatever it is. The fact that people haven't been able to memorialize their family members in the way that they want to. You got to do it over Zoom, or only 5 people can come, or or you can't see your deceased loved one. So we wrote the song, and the song simply says, "How will you remember me?" And we did a video for it, and I invited some of the folks who support me and all to be a part of the video. Send photos in of the name of your loved one, and we'll make a video. I just wanted people to find a way to heal. I lost my dad about 1.5 years ago, and I had never lost anyone in a way that affected me the way that affected me. My whole being. I felt I was. And but there's the silver lining of it is that they are still here, and the memories do live on. It sounds like doesn't sound like a song or something, but it's real when you go through it, and the sun comes out and you feel the sun on your face. And you're like, wow. You think of a moment that you had with a family member that transition. It's a real thing, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that with the world.
Let's share it now. We actually have the video pulled up. Remember me, so we definitely want to show this right now, so our audience can see, actually see what's going on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, just
say that I was the life of the party, The first one there, the last one out the door. And I hope you say that I never met a stranger. And when you'd say I love you, I'd say I love you more. Will you play my favorite song? Hang my picture on the wall. Mention me in prayer. How will you remember me?
Avery, you about to get me in an entanglement now. I'm telling you. Sing that song.
No,
that was powerful. I want to talk about
that put me in definitely put me in a space.
Miss Sunshine, I want to talk about as far as the process of this, because we think about when we hear music, in the headspace, like what was the process of creating this project?
Well, ironically, like I said, we got the call to do it for one thing, and it just morphed into that. And we got the call around the same week that George Floyd was murdered. So we couldn't, so then our due date was around, it was a lot. It was heavy. And so let's say the song was due to the people that asked for it on a Wednesday. We didn't start working on it until about 48 hours before, because we simply could not move.
Wow.
We couldn't move. It's like, what do you say? Reverend Jesse Jackson, who is a good friend of the family, he said something so wonderful, y'all. He said, George Floyd's last breath breathed life and breath into this world.
Yeah,
it did. And I literally, we felt like we were paralyzed for days, and we knew we had something to do. So we sat down, I sat at the piano and we started writing, and that's what came out. We didn't do a lot of editing. We were like, this is what it is. We're going to let it come out and be this, whatever we're feeling, we're going to say that and let that be. Most artists, I know y'all know, we be tweaking and doing stuff. But it took me 72 years to do that. And we don't have time for that when you're trying to get stuff done. So, and I'm learning to honor that first voice, first thought, usually the one. So that process was one of the first times that we honored the thought and let it be exactly what was going. We didn't have time. We didn't have time to do a lot of tweaking. So I played, and my husband played bass, and he did the drums, and we sent it to our homie to do his organ, and we did, and my husband and my daughter sang background. That was it. So
wow.
We hope, we hope that y'all, we appreciate that.
Definitely. So we're gonna wrap, but before we go, you have a show at Mapleton House.
Do I still have one?
So
amen.
So let me ask you about this before we go. So
told me nothing.
So
I'm not going. No. I'm gonna live. I'm sorry, y'all. Why y'all got me like this today? I'm sorry.
So what's going on? So they have you now.
Let me tell you about the Lord. I just don't. I'm not sure why people are still doing stuff. But listen, if there's an opportunity for me to be the lady in the bubble with a microphone, I will do it. But y'all, I'm nervous. Y'all not nervous about going out being around people, and they be called. And I mean, why won't people wear masks?
Yeah, it's a simple concept.
Because somebody on Pennsylvania Avenue says it's not necessary.
Did I hear the voice of the Lord this morning?
I just love you.
I love you too. I'm praying. We pray. Wait, I gotta tell y'all this though. I know you gotta let me go, but I gotta tell you. So while I was working at home, we've been at home quarantining. Y'all, you see this lipstick I got on?
Popping.
Praise God is my own line. Lou.
Shout out.
You see these lashes I got on? Huh? Glory to God, huh? Listen, you keep moving.
Working.
You have to find the silver lining Y'all hear me though?
I love it.
We all do. Another good friend of mine, Eric Roberson, said, if we find ourselves as artists and creatives on the other side of this, not having come up with something, we have lost and squandered some valuable time and a valuable opportunity. So I just submit to everybody, if there's something you want to do it. I had a thought about it and I just decided to do it. It's not perfect, but it's perfectly mine. And so I'm encouraging y'all. And on that note, it's going off again.
Well, now you can go ahead and snatch your husband. You can gather him now, off camera.
In love, of course.
Yeah.
In love.
Thanks so much for joining us, Miss Sunshine. Before we let you go, just how can people follow you?
Listen, Avery Sunshine, Instagram, Facebook, not on TikTok, because they say we're not doing TikTok no more. But please check me out. Come see what I got going on. And if
that's where we get the lipstick.
Lou Mac Beauty, L-O-U-C-K Beauty.
All right now.
All right, girl, get it going on. And I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for your husband right now. So
I love you all. Thank you for taking the time and allowing me to share some, and giving me some shine too. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Y'all better put me on this red talk table, man. Our next guest we got coming up, Cass in the City, A.R. Keeson, King James. He's he's an artist. He's a comedian. He's a rapper. I heard that he dances at night on P Valley, that show. Robbie.
Whoa! Oh, Robbie, you damn man. You working the pole.
Welcome, Robbie World, to Rolling Out AM, man. Good morning, man.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Bro, thank you. Hey, way to go for, man, breaking the gender barrier in P World, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, man.
It's not your turn.
Yeah, well, yeah, my bad for being in the car. I just got done working out. My trainer just busted my ass. So
no, man. Introduce yourself to the family, man.
Oh, well, what's up? What's happening? I'm Robbie World, content creator, comedian, director, writer, editor, just an overall dope creator.
So let's start here, because you're currently working on a couple of projects with myself and Munson, man, which is doing great. As a content creator, right? How do you feel about the label of when people put you in a box, or they say you're just a social comedian or you're just a social actor? How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like people who use that is outdated with their mindset, meaning like it's not like back in the day where you have to really like go out to LA and go to a certain place and try to make it. Now it's online. It's just like saying Zoom calls. We wouldn't be here without evolution. You know what I'm saying? It's just evolution. Like people say, oh, Zoom calls not real meetings, but it's actually more efficient. It's actually more easier. You know what I'm saying? And it's just people who say that, I just look at them because they're ignorant, not like ignorant like how we use it, but ignorant like the real definition, like ignorant to the knowledge of, you know, being up to date on stuff. So that's how I look at it like that. You can't blame them because you can't blame for people what they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So that's how I feel about it. I have no sweat coming from me off that.
Definitely, man. I want to talk about your process as far as like how, like, you know, you come up with so many concepts. Like how long does it usually take you to, like, when you get an idea, to actually bring that idea to fruition?
Honestly, sometimes I'll write them out. I got a notebook. It's somewhere in my car, but I got a notebook where I write out my ideas. Sometimes it's just spot on and I just act on it immediately. So if I'm feeling it in the moment, so that's why I like to vibe with people who I work with, so I can know like what their taste in comedy or what their taste in sense of humor is. And what I really do is just just vibe out until we find like a good idea, or I'll be like, oh yeah, that's dope. Let's shoot that right now. Let's shoot it right now. That's gonna be funny. That's gonna hit. Let's do it. Let's record it. So anytime I got an idea, I usually act on it, unless I'm like in the middle of the bed and I got an idea. I'll write it out, wake up the next morning, and figure out how to shoot it.
Gotcha. Guys, because I've always wondered this about you, because you know, me and King James, we manage cast in the city. You know, she's an actress too. She sings and she acts. So we don't have to throw her in there. But I've always been curious. Being on social platforms and you're able to release, you know what I'm saying, your content at your time, which gives you total control. Is that better than being attached to a major? Because you know, we're gonna talk about it later. You see what happened to Nick Cannon as far as, you know, his situation. So is it better to be able to control your market socially?
It's always better to control your market socially. The thing with Nick Cannon, which is like a very, you know, I don't even want to get into that, but it was just like, it's messed up because, you know, like he really built Wildin' Out, and he probably said some stuff that was like, you know, debatable. I'm gonna put it that way. But at the end of the day, it's still opinion based because people have opinion about us. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you can't take, like, they did it. They took it away from him. But he literally created a platform for people like me to like get to the next level, to get into Hollywood, to get into, you know what I'm saying, other stuff. If it wasn't for Nick Cannon, we wouldn't have the DC Young Flies, the Dan Rules, the Emmanuel Hudsons, you know what I'm saying, all the people that's gone to the next level from where I'm at to the Hollywood level. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Nick Cannon for that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Robbie, what you doing with Nick Cannon? Let me ask you this. You know, Nick Cannon, what he's done for so many people, like you were saying, like you, B. Simone, DC Young Fly, all those people. You know, I think that's amazing, but I believe there's going to still be a lot more opportunities to come about. Let me ask you this, though. This kind of going back to what you were saying. Sometimes you like to create your content and it be just like spot on, right? You be like, oh, right now, let's do this. And I think, will you find that to be more difficult during the pandemic when you don't have people that's just like right with you all the time to be able to just make it happen?
Well, honestly, it is, but it is not for me. For most people it would, but for me, I'm different. I don't give up. So I'm not gonna let this situation determine my outcome.
Hey, Robbie. So the reason I had you come on this morning, man, is I'm ready for us to shoot our movie. You know, like we need to take over the world. I want to be the master.
Oh, already.
I'm ready for this. I'm like ready for this. I'm ready for your movie. I'm like, we got to do this. We got to do it. Shoot it between, you know, Zoom and you. Let's do it.
I can't hear you.
You went out, man. You still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me? Okay, cool. So I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's
do it. And I think we need to make half of it on Zoom and half of it every place else. And like, let's drop it for holiday. So holiday movie, this is it. This is where we're going to cut the deal. Romeo and the National, let's put it together. We're going to have a Robbie World Christmas special movie. You've got it. We're going to take over the world. Christmas special. Shout on Zoom. Shout out to all the independent comedians right here on Rolling Out AM. It's going down. Much love. Woo.
Hey, appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I love.
We got it. Robbie's World Christmas special right here on Rolling Out. It's going down. We're going to make it happen. Everybody gonna show up. It's gonna be a COVID happy Christmas. Love you, man.
It's a happy Christmas.
Appreciate it. Bro, appreciate it. I appreciate that. That's love. That's love right there. No cap. Yeah, man. And
Tell
also,
everybody.
just to give y'all, oh, what did you guys say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, just to give y'all exclusive too, I'm working on 2 projects. I'm producing and directing this one project that I can't talk about, but it's a comedy series. And I'm producing this movie, which is gonna be like a serious movie, which I also can't talk about because I signed an NDA. But just look out for those. And now I got this on the roster, so I'm ready. So let's get it.
Just know you working. You working. That's it.
So can me and King James get our client Cass in the City in one of them? Can we get her in one of them?
She got an audition.
All right, cool.
You know?
We'll have it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring Keisha Green. I'm gonna bring Keisha Green. Keisha with me, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm trying to kick it. I was like, is he gonna ask about me or what?
You know what I'm saying?
You can have my spot, Keisha, because I'm not into it.
We'll take Keisha 15%. Hey man, tell everybody how to stay connected to you, man. Where to find you at.
Oh, did we lose him?
Oh, we lost
him. Yeah, we have a little technical difficulty, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Robbie World, thank you very much for coming on.
Shout out to Robbie World, man.
Yeah, definitely. Follow on Instagram and all the social media platforms. But right now, are you guys, there you are? Can you hear us? Oh, okay, yeah.
Then we're gonna let the producers check out. Keisha, me and King James want our 15% though. We got you. We just want our 15%.
With managers like them, we'll never have money.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
15%.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because we're ready for we need some action up in this piece, you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about Sweet Live. These people hear you talking.
Well, you know what? Hey, speaking of some action, are y'all ready for some football?
Let's go.
Get to come here to party. You know, the NBA is about to come up. And man, I am starving for my favorite sport, football. But right now we have, and take yourself off of mute, we have an Olympian and a Hall of Fame athlete. Oh, I'm sorry, an Olympic gold medalist and a Hall of Famer, and a CEO in the tech world, and now the CEO of the Women's Football League. Oh, that's a Jacob. Welcome to the building.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What's up? How you doing today?
I can't complain. Life is good. We out here moving and grooving.
Yeah, I see you got your little trophies there. You know what I'm saying? Where that come from?
I gotta give you a winning ambiance. You know, I'm all about that energy.
Yes.
I'm trying to give
Serve them
energy around here.
You know what I'm saying? I'm with that because you are a true boss. You are the CEO of the Women's Football League. And tell us how this, first of all, because, you know, this is a football starved nation. It is by far the nation's favorite sport. And now you bring it to us, the women's professional football version. Talk about how you got involved first, and then we can move on from there.
Yeah, so I've been playing football my whole life. I've been an athlete my whole life, always run around with my brothers and my cousins. I was fast and I was small, so I could always scat. You know, I was a little scat back growing up. And so about the 8th grade, all the boys started getting a little large and a little stronger than me. And so my coach was like, listen, I think you need to stop playing football and play a girl's sport, right? He's like, you need to stop playing boys' sports and play a girl's sport. And it broke my heart, but I wanted to go to college. I knew I had a gift. And so I started focusing more on basketball, went and played D1 basketball. I had a great college career. Shout out to the Big West Conference out there in California. And when I left college, the first thing I looked for was women playing football. You know, I just wanted to get back on the field, and I couldn't find anything. I moved here to Dallas, and y'all know about Texas. I don't know if y'all know about Texas football, but everybody, when the baby is born, they give the baby a bottle and a football. That's how they do it here in Texas. And so when I got here, I just Googled it. I Googled women's football, and sure enough, a team popped up, and there were women playing 11-on-11 tackle football, and it blew my mind. I showed up all big and bad and cold. I was ready to go. And I played for 10 seasons. And as you said, I was a 2-time gold medalist on the U.S. national team, all world running back, top running back in the world, won a couple national championships and some MVPs and stuff. But my last season, I was going into it, actually was lucky enough to get selected for the Bill Walsh Diversity Internship.
and was a running backs coach for the Atlanta Falcons. And I was sitting in an NFL office, and I'm like, this is crazy what these men, like the life that these men lead. Like it's nuts. They got somebody waiting on them. They don't have to worry about the things that us women have to do. And when I left the Falcons, I made a decision. You know what? I'm going to give all my gifts to women in sports, because there's so many of us taking those gifts away because we need to be validated by men. And so I decided I was going to go out and I was going to start my own thing, and that women weren't going to have to be in a situation where they didn't have a pro atmosphere to play football anymore. Started WNFC, Adidas jumped on, Riddell jumped on, and a year later, it's crazy. Everybody's figuring out about women's football.
That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I know that Keisha Green got a question. Go ahead, fire away,
I
Keisha.
think that's so nice. I'm almost sure I know one of your players, and I'm so mad because I can't think of her name right now. And her mom shoots movies, but she's out of Atlanta, and she's fast and she's nice. And I seen her doing some things with the Women's Football League over the end of last year and things. I was seeing her, so I'm almost certain she is amazing. I don't know why I can't think of her name. She's beautiful. She has beautiful hair. They are out of Atlanta, but I think maybe she's in LA now. I seen her buy a little car and everything. So y'all must be writing some checks over there.
Can't get them checks from us. We're not writing any checks yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. You know, I think that there's a lot. Frankly, there's a lot going on in the sport. There's a lot of people, because they're starting to see it grow, that are jumping in, and it's fortunate in a lot of ways. But you guys know, with success comes scams. So there are a lot of people out here trying to get in the game, saying they're going to throw these women millions and millions of dollars, or claiming that they're going to do things, where I'm here just building a lead slow and steady, you know, trying to get with these billion-dollar organizations and global sponsors. And I'm just trying to do it the way that any entrepreneur would, with good integrity, and not making any promises to women that I can't keep, because we've made so many promises that I just want to be somebody of integrity that knows about the game.
What are some of the things you guys been doing to get sponsorship?
Yeah, there's a couple things. One of the things I think was to just get some great content out there. Like, women's football has been played for 70 years. A lot of people don't know that. The NFL has been around for 100 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, 70.
70.
70, she says 70.
Yeah, 70. Yeah, so like, women have been playing organized tackle football for that long. So the knowledge is there, everything is there, but the money isn't. We can keep it all the way real. If the dollars don't come, then you don't get good content, you don't get the cameras pointed at it, you don't get big sponsors. And so one of my ideas when I came into women's football a year ago was, you know what? I'm going to package it a different way. I'm going to make sure that we invest, you know, so I took money out of my pocket and made my own personal investment, and put thousands of dollars into the business, and showed sponsors that I'm willing to invest in myself so that you can invest in me. And it ended up in the first major sponsorship in the history of the sport when Adidas came on. So it was, it paid off, but there's a lot of other stuff that we're doing. We're highlighting our players, right? Like, we're introducing you to things like this. I got a great PR agent. Like, we're just doing stuff that wasn't done before. And I think it's equaling in us being able to tell our story outside of this little cult following that is women's football.
That's right. Before we move on to AR Shaw, before I move on to AR Shaw, I wanted to shout out Rayson Gore. She said, shout out to my coach. I know you know who she is.
Yeah, she's the MVP of the league. That's a bad woman right there. Okay. You guys want to see somebody tote the rock? That's a bad girl.
Okay, go ahead, Amir.
What have you been in any discussion with the NFL? Because last year the NFL, they made $16 billion. $16 billion in this one season, and this is a nonprofit organization. They made $16 billion. So my thing is this, I'm listening to you. I'm like, okay, this could actually be a subsidiary of the NFL, similar to how the WNBA is a subsidiary to the NBA. So have you been in discussion with Roger Goodell, individuals in the NFL? Because, you know, they're talking about diversity, they're talking about Black Lives Matter. But to me, if they were partnership with you, this would really show that, okay, that they really are trying to take a step forward in diversity. So have you had those discussions? And if not, what do you plan? How do you plan to I guess, have any type of partnership with the NFL?
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. I'm a Black, all-female owned business with NFL pedigree that's been in football for 13 years. So that's what I'll say. There's absolutely nothing that I think that we're presenting that wouldn't make it easy for the NFL to partner with us.
NFL? We looking for you. NFL.
Roger, can you hear?
Roger.
No,
NFL.
What I will say is that it's complicated, right? When I talked about women's football being around for 70 years, there's multiple leagues, there's multiple teams, and it's complicated. I think the NFL is doing a wait and see thing where the NFL is a leader and they need to do a leadership thing and just say, you know what? I'm gonna go take the whole sport and I'm gonna make it happen. I frankly think that they are in that space. So I've never had a conversation with Mr. Goodell, but the NFL is actually in communication with us. And I feel blessed that they are having conversations and they're taking steps. I don't know if y'all know that the NFL has sponsored women's flag football as a varsity sport for the first time in history.
No,
so
I didn't know that.
There are a couple things being done where the NFL saying, you know what? We're going to jump into women in football. And what other people don't know is that all of my girls, all of those great female coaches that you see breaking barriers, Katie Sowers, Jen Welter, Jen King, Callie Bronson, all those women that are coaches right now play women's football. They're
okay.
Every single one of them. I was on the U.S. national team with Callie, who's now in Cleveland. Jen Welter, who was the first woman to ever play the game. Jen King is a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Katie Sowers is a quarterback. I gave her hell. She's probably happy to be in San Francisco. She don't want to, But yeah, so I just think that there's a lot of history that the NFL knows about now where it's time for them to say, you know what? Stop waiting for somebody else. You a boss, be a boss, and come get these women and do it the right way. So absolutely.
That's what's up. Now I have a question. I think it comes from FB or it comes from one of our colleagues. They've seen speak on the lingerie league. Is that real? Because they've seen it on ESPN.
Oh, is it real? It's real. Like if you pinch it, it'll say ouch. So it's real like that. It's real like that. But is it real football? I don't categorize it as football. It's great entertainment. If you like women and skin and sexuality, then you love it. I mean, it's very entertaining from that perspective. But we play football. We play 11-on-11 football. And it's like if there were men in bikini bottoms running around playing 7-on-7 in an arena, would I even have to answer that question, right? Like if you knew the NFL exists and then some person jumped up and was like, we got the men's Speedo League, this is gonna be great. You'd be like, that's a joke. So I think it's the same way. 11-on-11 has been around, real football where women don't have to compromise themselves at all. Is how I want people to know and recognize the sport. But yes, it's real. It's unfortunate. Frankly, it's a damn shame that women are out there with everything hanging out trying to ball. It's unfortunate.
Okay, well, I'm going to give the floor to Keisha or Amir because I do have another question, but I wanted to make sure that I got Keisha in here.
I think that is real crazy. And I really seen your expression in your body language. You was like, listen, what I do and this lingerie thing is just two totally different. Don't even ask me and compare. And I want to say that I just really commend you and salute you for being willing to break down those barriers and just like, hey, even when you just called out the NFL, like, no, y'all leaders, come through and get us. Like, don't wait or whatever. I love all those things that you're doing and I commend you because I know breaking barriers can be difficult and it can get discouraging, especially being a woman, like you're saying, a Black woman, all women-owned business, but we'll be praying for sponsorships and doors that'll be opening on your behalf so that we could cause this shift since everybody says, everyone, deserves a place.
For sure. You have to be willing to not beg. Like, we're not beggars. We do our part. You have to be willing to do your part if you want somebody to support you and help you. And I think that's where the WNFC put a different voice into women's football is that we're not begging. We're investing our own time. We're investing our own money. We're making it look good. We're making it smell good. We're highlighting. We're on shows like this. So it's like we've proven, I think, to the NFL and other sponsors. Shout out to Rodell Sports. Shout out to Adidas for stepping up and sponsoring us. But I think we're proving that we're willing to do the work. But to your point, you got to come meet us halfway and do the right thing. When there's billions of dollars out there, you can make a significant change to a lot of women's lives by simply coming in and making an investment or putting us on path with some of their sponsors, right?
And I hear you loud and clear, because what you're saying is, listen, we're not begging, but we're deserving.
Well, I think it's another movement that is discrimination, and it's not just Roger. It's the women that are on their sides going to the game, sitting in the suites. This is a women's movement, and it's recognition. Your wife should have a problem with how you're treating women's football. Your daughter should have a problem with how you're sitting there. You know, Beyonce, talk to Jay-Z. You should not be discriminating against any women. This is a women's movement. Black Lives Matter was started by Black women. So let's recognize that. You know, don't abandon us. You know, it is a women's movement, and you need to recognize it. It's not Roger. We shouldn't even be talking to him. How can his wife tolerate that type treatment of women? It ain't just, it's women's football. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what this movement's about. You know, we tired of you saying, oh, she's second. How can she be second when she's first? She brought you to the game. You came for a woman, and then you hate the person that brought you to the world. I mean, come on, man. That's not even fair. It's like all the moms and all the wives of football players. How can you not love this woman? This is a woman's movement. So all the women, all the cheerleaders, all the other women that watch the game, all the women that serve the tacos and the burgers to your men, if they're not going to respect the women that want to be in the league, why are you robbing women? It's the women that have to speak up. Women have to continue to speak up and let their men know that, you know what, you're discriminating against women in this league. Why?
Mrs. Godell, can you hear us?
No, that's true. You know, what he says is a really good point. I think that there is a really nasty thing that flows in women as they become successful. And this actually happens in my peers in women's football. You know, things existed before I got here. I've sat down at the table like, and you know, my team in the WNFC, my leadership team, they get mad at me because I bring people together. That's what I do. I'm a football coach. So my job is to bring people together and help them move together. So I've come to the table with my direct competitors and said, look, if we get together and I've sat in the front of the NFL with my direct competitors, nobody will tell you that. I've went to the people that have stood up and cussed me and said, listen, if we work together, sister, we can do this. But I think to your point, women have to step back and say, listen, if we come together and put our fingers together, we can move better as one, and let's go with some of that ego and stop always trying to be first and stop always trying to be the best and just get it done, like get shit done. But the point of us being the people that are leading the movement, you're right, we're leaders, right? We are multipliers, and it won't stop. So don't feel bad for us because we ain't going nowhere.
Never feeling bad. I just want people to know that it is about other women. True. And not talking to Roger, but knowing that somebody's next to him, somebody wants to sit up in the booth. Do not be quiet. This is not the moment for you not to understand that this is also a movement. There are all the movements. We're moving our entire community forward. And you as a CEO, we need Kaepernick to step up. Everybody needs to get behind our entire movement. We can't just look at Roger. If Kaepernick's not actually tweeting it, then, oh, come on, bro. It's an entire community movement, and we need everybody involved. Nobody's safe. If you're not a part of all our movements, then you're against us all. Amen. You know, all of us brothers, we've been wrong. Change. This is your moment. Change. Stand up and change.
That's right.
What's up?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you too.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Jenkins, for coming on today. And I wanted you, before you leave, to let people know where they can go to find out more information, both about you, because you a boss, and then about the women's football conference. You know what I'm saying? Just shout out where they got to go.
So the first thing I would say is go to the league, right? The business first. I think that if you support the WNFC, you support me. So everything at WNFC Football on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. And then we have an awesome website that you can go to, WNFCfootball.com. Again, WNFCfootball.com, where you can get a great introduction to women's football. There's games out there, there's pictures, all of our teams across the country. We got 17 teams, 17 cities, 20 teams, so we're multinational. But check out the WNFC on all of our socials. And if you just look up Odessa Jenkins, it ain't a lot of them. Just Odessa Jenkins on all the socials, and you can follow me. But I appreciate y'all's support. And again, Mr. Steed, what you said about being supportive and stepping up and following us. You guys tell your other partners, right? If they're going to do this movement, right? If they're really into football, they can't leave WNFC and women's football behind. So,
Mrs. Godell, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. And now we know, now that more people know, we expect more people to follow you and to support you and to find out what's going on and what the real is. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Blessings to you.
Respect.
That was deep. Yeah, that was all right. That was all right. That was powerful.
Yeah.
So we got the reports that we got to get to real quick. I'm not exactly sure who's going to go first. Romeo, step up to the plate. It's your time to bat, my brother.
I'm gonna make this quick. Hey, thank you, King James, for that question, because I always wondered, because I do see that on ESPN. Like I do
lingerie football, yeah.
Okay.
So
cool beans. So wherever they go, that's where we're gonna go. So that ain't me, but whoever it is, go right here. That ain't me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry. She said, they had Romeo down first, so I'll go first. And the first is Tiger Woods. Okay, Tiger Woods shocked a lot of people when he said that the Black Lives Matter movement is fantastic, which is a really radical step away from a month ago when he got trashed because he's basically was saluting the police. And we know that he's a Trump supporter, and he said that Black people shouldn't be burning down their own neighborhoods. So he really took a step back and had to reconsider what he was saying. And now he says that change is great, it's fantastic, and what the Black Lives Matter doing is commendable. Next subject.
Migos sued their attorney for malpractice, and they seeking millions right now in dollars. So hey, make sure you watch who you put your lawyer. Go. She gonna go everywhere. Oh, okay. Look, if you do this, you're gonna piss off the whole entire world, especially me. First of all, it's about rebooting Martin with the cast of Desi Banks, B. Simone, DC Young Fly, can't remember that comedian, and just hilarious. Please don't do that. Don't do
that. Please don't.
No.
Leave it alone. Leave Martin alone.
Yeah, that's foul.
And this is so funny, man. I want y'all to see this clip. I know King James is gonna enjoy this. Play the clip. Hit it. That was okay. That wasn't the clip. All right. And that was
I would talk about him, but I don't want to get canceled today. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna say who's responsible for it.
All right. So at the same time, we're going to listen and understand that.
He got some shade thrown on today. Go ahead, bro.
That day, yeah.
I'm confused.
Surreptitious fade. Clandestine
I want to
fade.
talk about Martin though. What's like that? I saw that Martin thing, man. Let's leave Martin alone. Martin is a classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Martin. Do not reboot Martin.
No.
I love DC. I love this. I love all those comedians, but leave it alone. Leave it alone.
No.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that looks like.
That's even foul just to even consider, man. It's just like, that's just foul. Man, leave that alone. That was a classic. It can't be duplicated. It can't be duplicated. It can't be added on to. Let it go. Leave it alone. Don't even touch it.
Oh man. And we had some great guests today, man. I don't even know where to go.
We had some fire today. We brought that fire.
I definitely enjoyed some
happening on Facebook, Rome.
On Facebook, man, Iris Baker says there is no Martin without Martin. Great.
Exactly.
Also, Rashawn Gore says, I like him. that Mr. Steed guy. And Amir Hollis says, preach, Mr. Steed. And who else is checking in? Latanya P. Story said, this is awesome.
Hey, everybody.
It's got a lot. It's a lot. Shinoba, Williams, they all checking in for the great conversation, and really
What's
do
up,
appreciate
everybody? We appreciate you here rolling out the wake-up call. We know that it's happening. You see I changed hat, Keisha. I went
a couple of times.
Changed hat again.
I like that one too.
I went for that. I'm gonna find me a shirt that matches with this and do some kind of final post for a purpose. But I love that. I love the leadership. Thanks, Terry, for bringing that great guest.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Guest, that was
and thanks, Cass, for bringing in the one with the sophisticated libations. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to go imbibe on some sophisticated drinks.
Hey, yes.
Definitely support Black businesses.
Like that Sunday show. What is it? Wind up on
Yeah,
Sunday.
for sure.
Yeah. The
Wind up
with that
Sunday.
producer that I cannot name, but it's a producer that we have who does the Sunday wind up, but I don't want to get canceled, so I'm not going to mention her name.
Yeah, don't do that, King James.
Listen, y'all need to stop.
See?
Now you know I cannot just sit here and allow y'all to do this.
Right?
Okay. I'm sorry.
I don't know why, Keisha.
I'm sorry, Keisha.
No. Now you didn't say her name, but say, I'm sorry, I didn't say your name.
Huh?
Deep.
Oh, well, you know what? No, I wanted to give her a shout out because her show is successful and it's popping and I like it, but I'm not going to mention her name. And I'm not apologizing for giving her some love. I'm not apologizing.
Oh, got to start. Oh, so now it's the love style. You know, here's my love language.
She knows I support her show. She knows that I think she's the bomb.
We know that you take the Pinot Noir on there. We know that much. We know that
Pinot Noir in the building.
Terry is like
thoughts of the day. Start off with King James.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of times you go through life and you have like haters in every direction. While as you ascend that ladder of success, will allow your haters to be your motivators and use it to motivate yourself to keep yourself comported in the right direction, to help you to focus, to help you to work harder. Haters actually are good for you. God put them in your life for a reason. So let your haters be your motivators. That's my word of the day. And I pass the ball over to Keisha.
Listen, you guys, do not forget each and every day when you rise, just to speak affirmations over yourself. Things like, I am chosen, I am gifted, I am loved, I break generational curses, I have the knowledge and the ability to obtain and be able to maintain wealth for my family. Don't forget to speak over your life. Be the light that you need before you look for light. I'm going to pass it over to AR.
My positive thought of the day is love Black women. We saw the sister, Miss Jenkins. She's doing her thing over there. She's institutionalizing sports. Godell, cut the check. You made $16 billion last year. Throw the sister some money. We need to see her on a higher platform. She needs to be on ESPN. But when it comes to Black women, black women who have businesses, support them. So that's my positive thought of the day is love Black women. Let's go, Cass.
Respect Black women also. So let's just throw that in there. Love and respect Black women. But my positive thought of the day is to practice self-care, take the time to learn what self-care is, and, take care of yourself. You only have one body, you only have one life. I'm going to pass it to Romeo.
I have a dream that one day Black people, white people in this nation will wear a freaking mask. It's really that simple. Put on a damn mask, man. It ain't calculus. I'm gonna pass it to Munson Steve.
That was cute.
I like that, Romeo. I have a dream. I tell you, that was definitely part of the love, and it was a wonderful thing. Seems like people are beginning to catch up with you. Walmart caught up with you and said, definitely, if you come shop here, you have to put something on, and it doesn't have to be a mask. It could be your favorite, handkerchief, whatever you got, you know what I mean? Make one up, Could be a bag. Just do the bag. Like, the other thing is, just cover up. Just cover up. Just let your eyes be seen. But we definitely want to have a community that's safe. because we don't want to be exposed. At any rate, this is Rolling Out. We got lunch and learn at noon. I want to thank everybody from King James to Cass in the City to Keisha Green. My thought of the day is definitely be focused on your peace and your purpose. Don't let anybody rob you. Don't let any circumstances rob you of your peace and your purpose. You have a peace and purpose, so don't even be caught up in this moment that you are in during this pandemic, because you're not in that moment. You're in yourself. So focus on what's inside of you and what good you can bring to the world. Y'all got gifts, so use them and know that you're loved. I'm rolling out. 8 a.m. the wake up call with King James, Cass in the City, Romeo International, and of course, A.R. Shaw and Keisha. Hats off to all of you. Much love. We'll see you tomorrow on Rolling Out 8 a.m. the wake up call. Peace.
In the A, in the A, in the
Go to rollingout.com right now. Rollingout.com, like right now. Shout out Iris Baker right now.